Hello, Feuzion. My name is Alex Fuse, the host of Fusion News. It is good to be back here live on YouTube, and I'm on the phone right now with MLB Pipeline reporter, Mr. Jim Callis. Jim, very busy day for you. It's opening day for the minor leagues. So, what has been some team for you that you are very excited to cover this upcoming season?
It's more, from the minor league standpoint, it's probably more prospects than specific teams. There's a number of guys I'm excited to see how they do. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, he's not, he counts as a prospect because he counts as a rookie. He's not your classic prospect, but I'm curious to see how he does as a two-way player. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is probably my favorite prospect in the minors. Very curious to see how he does this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended the year in Toronto. Ronald Acuna had a great year last year, 19. We're waiting to see how he's going to do, making the jump to Atlanta. Just a bunch of guys. It's very exciting time of year now that we're getting the prospects going. Always look forward to it.
So, Jim, a lot of players, four main players are in the minor leagues within the MLB system from upstate New York, where the show is from. Ian Anderson, he was drafted in the first round back in 2016. We also have Garrett Whitley. We also have Jamie Schultz as well, and JP Sportman. Out of the four players, all four are very talented baseball players. Ian Anderson, let's start off with him. What is his shot? Could he potentially play on the Braves this year?
I don't think this year. The Braves haven't been afraid to move their young pitchers fast, but he coming in this year, he hasn't played above low Class A. He'll start the year in high Class A. I think he has a chance to perhaps finish the year in Double A. Like most guys out of high school, the Braves have handled him very carefully. They obviously loved him enough to draft him third overall in 2016. They limited him to 83 innings last year. I wouldn't think they'd bump him up much over 110 or 120 this year. Realistically, his ETA is probably 2020 in Atlanta, which, is a couple of years obviously in the future. But at the same time, he could be 21 years old in the big leagues. He's, extremely talented. He's got a good fastball, mid-90s, downhill angle, gets a lot, misses bats, generates a lot of weak contact. His curveball's a good pitch. His changeup's a good pitch. He has a chance. If it all comes together, he could have 3+ pitches and at least 3 solid pitches when all is said and done. And like a lot of young guys, it's just a bit, I think the focus on him is going to be consistency, not only with the quality of stuff, but throwing in the strike zone. He's extremely talented.
With Ian Anderson, Jim, his father is a teacher at Shelmont High School, the same high school I attend, and he was actually the head baseball coach for Shelmont High School for almost 20 years or even more, and he won the state championship with Shelmont's, the head coach, Ian Anderson's father, back in 2014. So it's kind of cool to see a player from upstate New York, and I've known his father since I had him in 6th grade as he was my science and math teacher. So it's kind of cool to see someone from the area making very big progress in the minor leagues. Next, JP Sportman. He also was in the Shelmont School District. He then transferred over to play with LaSalle to finish out his high school career. What's next for JP Sportman with the Athletics?
With JP, not nearly as high profile pick as Ian Anderson was. He was, I think, what was he, like a 27th rounder, am I right, out of Central Connecticut State?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think in 2014. And when you're drafted that low, the thing is you kind of have to prove yourself at every level. He repeated Double A last year. He had the best year, or not that I should say the best year of his career, but did set a career high for 12 homers. Fared a lot better than he did his first crack at Double A in 2016. I have not checked out the rosters in depth. I would assume he's been promoted to Triple A. Have you seen Alex where he's starting this year? Is he in Triple A?
I believe he is in Triple A.
Yeah, but he's got a little bit of pop. He's not a top 30 prospect in our estimation, but he's already made it to Double A. He had a nice year there last year. That's probably the toughest level to, making that jump from high Class A to Double A. In Triple A, you're only one step away from the majors. Yeah. So, curious to, not a guy who I will admit that, is on my radar, to an extreme amount. But, he did have a successful year in Double A, and then, up to Triple A, he's proven himself at every level so far, and now we'll see if he can make the jump from Triple A to the big leagues.
Jim, before I go on to my next player, I'm going to ask you about, you said about the top 30 MLB pipeline. for a basic MLB fan, they might not know exactly how you determine someone to get on the top 30 list. How exactly do you and the rest of the MLB staff determine them?
Yeah, we do top 30 prospect lists for all 30 major league teams. We have an overall top 100 prospect list, and it's a combination of a few things. I mean, the short answer is I look at it as it's kind of a balance between a player's ceiling and the likelihood that he reaches his ceiling. I mean, we're factoring in your potential long-term value. We're looking at tools, we're looking at performance, we're looking at makeup. We try to see as many players as we can. You can't see everybody. I mean, I won't try to claim that I see 900 different minor leaguers. But we also talk to a ton of scouts, college coaches, and minor league managers. And, we get to see a lot of these guys in Arizona Fall League, which is nice. It's kind of a year-round process where we're constantly tweaking the lists. And I enjoy it. I mean, that's probably my favorite part of the job is ranking prospects.
All right, Jim, let's move on now. And Garrett Whitley, also from upstate New York, he is with the Tampa Bay Rays. What's next for Garrett Whitley?
Well, unfortunately, it sounds like, I don't know if it's official, but I know there was a fear that he may miss this entire season after he may need surgery on the labrum in his throwing shoulder, which would be a huge setback for him. He was one of the better athletes in the 2015 draft when he was a first-round pick, and he hasn't had a lot of success at the plate. There's been a lot of swing and miss. In pro ball, he did hit 13 homers last year, which was a career high. Still very talented. I mean, he's got plus speed, he's got plus raw power. He's got a chance to be a plus center fielder, but not a obviously not a very good sign for his development if he winds up missing the entire season. I mean, the nice thing is if that is the case, he's still 21 years old, so I mean, youth is still on his side. But it's obviously a blow if you're going to lose a full year of at bats at this point in your career.
Definitely. Jamie Schultz also dealt with injuries last year. Is he back healthy enough to play in the minors this season, Jim?
I have not been on top of that. I'm not sure of his health status, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a guy who's had some success missing bats in the past, but I don't know what the way. It's funny because I think I think he's graduated from prospect status for us, and those guys kind of fall in the limbo. So I'm just not really on top of him right now. Like maybe I should be. Well, I take that back. Jamie is number 30 on our list, number 30 on our Rays prospect list. But I'm not sure of his health status. It looks like to me, I think he's on the Durham Bulls roster, and it looks like he's healthy. So I think he'll start the season in AAA. So I was just doing some quick typing here, and it looks like he's on Durham's roster. The interesting thing about him is, I mean, he obviously can throw hard. He's missed bats throughout his career. If he's healthy enough, I mean, I think we could see him in the Rays bullpen at some point.
Well, that's always good news for a player that dealt with I think he missed almost a whole last season. So, Jim, before we wrap up this Feuzion News interview, you talked about Ohtani. I took a gamble and added him to my fantasy baseball team this upcoming season, and he struggled in spring training. Let's be honest. He really did struggle, and he is really shining in the first week of opening week for the MLB. So what's next? What is your prediction for Ohtani this upcoming season?
It's funny because I thought almost he took too much grief during spring training. I mean, spring training stats don't mean much. Right. I almost never look at them. I mean, you're facing such varying levels of competition. A lot of times you don't know. Like there could be guys, like if it's a pitcher, he could be working on something specific. Like I'm not saying Ohtani was doing this, but like guy might be like saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw my changeup. 40% of the time so I can work on my changeup, and you get knocked around. And I think people just underestimated. Look, Ohtani not only it's extremely difficult to try to hit and pitch. Personally, I mean, I think if teams had their way, and you weren't going to sign him if you weren't going to let him do both. But I do think if most teams had their way, they would have him just focus on one. Because I mean, it's not like when you're a pitcher, you pitch in his case every 6 days, and then you don't do anything pitching related for the other 5. I mean, there's a lot of preparation physically and mentally that goes into that too. And he takes away from that when he's working on hitting, and likewise, he's not concentrating full time on hitting. But I mean, look, this guy has fastball pretty much as good as it gets. He's got a slider and a splitter that are well above average pitches. He's got well above average raw power and arm strength, and speed out of the batter's box. He's just very, very gifted. And I mean, he's obviously not going to hit 2 homers every 3 starts. He's not going to win every start he makes on the mound. but I think he's shown everybody in the first week of the big league season how talented he is. Yeah, I mean, he does come with some swing and miss. He swings and misses more than your typical Japanese hitter, and I think that'll be something to watch over the course of the season. I'll be curious to see. I mean, honestly, we haven't seen anybody try to do this where you're a regular pitcher and a semi-regular hitter. I mean, literally, the last time anybody tried to do that was Babe Ruth in 1919. I mean, it's been almost literally, it's been 99 years since anybody's tried to do that, and so. As a fan, he's one of the guys I'm most excited to see. Very curious to see how it works out. I mean, I think we're going to see the guy make 25 or 30 starts as a pitcher, and probably make 80 to 100 starts as a DH. I think. So I'm really looking forward. I'd be curious. I mean, I think he's got the chance to win 15 games and hit 15 homers. And I don't even know if anybody's ever done that in Major League. I don't even know if Babe Ruth's done that in Major League history. So, that'll be very interesting. I'd be curious to know. And not that I'm asking you to know, Alex, but like, I wonder what the record is for, like a home run win combo. Where you have a minimum amount of each.
Right.
I don't know what that record would be, but like he may set that this year. And so in fact, it's I have to go look that up when we're done because I'm actually very curious as to know what that record would be. It looks like in 1918, Babe Ruth had 13 wins and 11 homers. I wonder how many other guys have even been double figures in both because before that. I mean, Babe Ruth, as we all know, like kind of revolutionized home run hitting. I mean, guys weren't hitting a lot of home runs. So I mean, he may be that 1918 season. For Babe Ruth, maybe the only season where anybody was in double figures in both.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So what you're saying, you aren't concerned about his injury at all, and it's kind of like a Tanaka similar issue where he's just going to pitch as long as it becomes a real problem.
Well, I do think there has to be some concern because he did have the PRP injection, and there's some question about the elbow. And one of the things that worries me about any pitcher who throws hard, and I don't claim to be a doctor, I didn't stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night, but I do think that one of the reasons we see so many arm injuries is guys are just throwing harder than they ever have before. In baseball history, and I just think young guys throwing hard, it's hard for their arms to hold up. So I do have some concerns, but I do think if he stays healthy, I do think he's going to have a really good year. Probably more so, I think he'll make more of an impact as a pitcher than a hitter. But this guy is extremely, extremely talented, and when people were giving him grief in spring training for struggling as much as he did, it just reminded me when Ichiro came over. I don't think Ichiro had a good spring training, and guys thought his hitting style was really unorthodox, and there was a lot of skepticism. How's this guy going to make it? This guy's not very good. And all he did was go out and win the MVP award as a rookie. So I think, I'm not saying Otani's going to be MVP, but I think he's going to be very, very good.
Well, Jim, last question before I wrap up this interview. You have been covering the MLB Pipeline for almost 30 years now, and you've been with MLB Pipeline since 2013. Do you have one favorite moment that sticks out to you most about covering baseball for almost 30 years now?
There've been a lot of highlights. I mean, it's like thinking back early in my career when I was at Baseball America. I graduated from the University of Georgia in December of 1988, and in 1990 I was covering the College World Series when Georgia won it. I was covering it for Baseball America, and I'd gone to school with a lot of guys on the team who wanted to win the national championship. So even though that was a long time ago, that was a particularly favorite memory. I was at the Olympics the first time it was an official gold medal sport. That was pretty cool. I've enjoyed, just even last year in the Arizona Fall League, I saw Ronald Acuna hit 2 home runs in a game. That was kind of a neat deal. Going to the Futures games, I don't know how many I've been to. Futures games started in 1999, so I guess we're on but this will be the 20th of the future. I've probably been at 15 or 16 Futures games. That's been fun. I was thinking about this more as a fan, not covering them, but I attended Game 7 of the 2016 World Series because my now 18-year-old daughter is a big Cubs fan, wanted to go to that, and that was kind of a cool moment. And then my oldest son's a big Astros fan, and we were at Game 5 of the World Series last year, so that was pretty cool too. at the College World Series, I was there when Warren Morris, I don't know how many of your listeners remember this, but Warren Morris hit a walk-off homer in the championship game to turn a one-run deficit into a one-run win, and he went on to play the big leagues. So people probably heard of him, but Warren Morris was hurt that year, and he hadn't hit a home run all year until that at bat. That was a pretty cool moment. So I've been pretty fortunate. I got to go to Cuba back in 1991 in the Pan American Games, back when not a lot of people got to go to Cuba. And, I got to cover some great Cuban ball players while I was covering international baseball. So I've had a lot of fun. I've got to do a lot of neat things. I do tell people, Alex, my two favorite events still to this day to cover or to attend on a yearly basis are the College World Series and the Arizona Fall League. I think they're my two favorite events, and I think they're definitely the two most underrated events in baseball.
I definitely agree with that. Well, Jim, I want to say thank you again for coming on my show tonight. And where can the Fuse Nation follow you on Twitter to, follow along throughout the whole minor league baseball and MLB season? It's going to be a long one.
Yeah, people can follow me on Twitter at Jim Callis MLB. That's JimCallis MLB. I do. Sometimes it gets a little hectic during draft time of year, but I do try to interact with fans and answer questions as much as I can. And I kind of feel like when I'm evaluating prospects like I do, I've always felt like you should be able to defend your reasoning. So I'm happy to do that if fans have questions. And people can see our work, my work, and Jonathan Mayo's and Mike Rosenbaum's at MLBpipeline.com. And the great thing about our site, all our prospect rankings and grades and videos and all the stories we do, it's all free. You don't need a subscription. None of it's behind a paywall. It's all out there for free. So hopefully people can enjoy that.
Definitely. Thank you again, Jim, for coming on my show tonight.
No problem, Alex. Glad to do it, and we'll be glad to do it again in the future, too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Fuse Nation, you just heard it from Jim Callis from MLB Pipeline. We talked about Ian Anderson, Garrett Willie, JP Sportman, and Jamie Schultz, all from upstate New York. We also talked about his career and what's next this upcoming season. Thank you again, Fuse Nation, for listening, and be sure to come back onto YouTube very soon for more Fusion News episodes. Thanks again for listening, and I will be seeing you very soon. Thanks for watching.